Do you defend premise? How do you defend premise one of the moral argument? If moral laws exist, then God exists. I'm especially interested in positive defenses, opposed to appeals to the absurdity of the alternative. So, when you so the argument is Craig presents the moral argument is if God does not exist, objective moral values and duties do not exist, which is the same as basically what you've got here. But then premise 2 is objective moral values and duties do exist. The conclusion, therefore, God exists. So then what we have to do is we have to defend each of those premises. And so honestly, atheist is asking, okay, the first premise, if God does not exist, then objective moral values and duties do not exist. How do you defend that? And what I would say is a couple of things because we'll talk about what the alternatives are in a moment because I don't want to leave with that since you're asking me specifically. So the thing about it is you're asking what's the best explanation. Basically here it's in defense of premise 1, you'd say this is one of two things I'm going to say. What's the best explanation for the objectivity of moral values and duties? Well, because I agree with you, if they're not objective, you don't need God as an explanation. Perhaps you would for other things like the existence of anything. But if objective moral values and duties do exist, then I think the best explanation for that is God. Because the alternatives are some kind of Platonic. It's just a law of the universe or something. And that brings me to the second one that I think also fortifies that one, which is there is a design element to morality. I mean, if you're granting me that it's objective, we're not talking about it being subjective. If you grant me that we're talking about objective moral values and duties, then there is a real design element to this. These seem to be clearly designed to help people flourish, survive, do better, and even in places where it doesn't seem to have an immediate benefit, altruism and sacrifice and things like that. So I think there's a teleological element, and I think that it's the best available option if you grant that. And I don't think it's like we may discover something in the future that's actually a new option we didn't know about. I think the available options are there. You've got some sort of Platonism. You got some sort of non-natural moral realism. You got theism. You've got only a few real options here. And of those, God is the best explanation, plus the design element.
I totally agree with that. And I kept thinking, like when you were going off on those last few options, or just brute facts or something. I always have Luke Barnes in the back of my mind. I don't know when you get to play that card. It's just, and that's a great debate. Who was he talking to when he said that?
I don't know.
But he was having a debate with somebody, and he was like, "I don't know when you get to play that card."
Yeah.